News just out. India's September retail inflation coming in at a 5-month high. It's staying well above the Reserve Bank of India's upper tolerance limit of 6% for the 9th straight month. Our prices rose by 7.41% on year last month, higher than analysts' expectations of a 7.36% increase. This undermining the government and central bank's efforts to tame inflation. The RBI has already hiked its key repo rate 4 times this year to contain rising prices. Rebecca Bunnan joins us live from Mumbai now. Rebecca, what's driving India's stubbornly high inflation, and will the government and central bank take more action to bring prices back under control?
Well, there are some global factors at work. We have got of course, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has impacted commodity prices globally, and countries worldwide are, of course, struggling with high inflation levels. We've also got the depreciating rupee here in India, supply chain disruptions worldwide. All these factors are fueling inflation in India. But really, one of the main factors that we're seeing in India that's driving up prices is rising food prices. And that's the big concern at the moment. The latest data that came out for September shows that food prices alone, which make up most of the largest part of the basket for this reading, were well above 8% in the month of September on the year. And that's because India's been seeing extreme weather conditions that have affected crop planting and production. That includes a heat wave earlier this year. And then during this monsoon season, it's been very patchy. We've seen some areas that have received too much rain, others that have seen drought. And this is all affecting food production and then driving up prices. And of course, this has an impact on the poor and the middle classes in particular. And now, yes, the government and the RBI have both been taking steps as inflation has been a problem for some time now. And the RBI, for example, has been hiking interest rates since May, including a 50 basis point hike that it delivered at its last interest rate meeting, which was at the end of September. Then we've also seen action from the government as well. What it's been doing is it's been curbing some exports of staples, including wheat, rice and sugar. We've seen various restrictions imposed on exports of those products to try to cool prices for the local population. But yes, there are expectations that there will be further steps from the RBI. It's widely expected that it will deliver another rate hike at its next meeting. And there are some expectations that the government will have to step in with more support.
Yeah, Rebecca, at the same time, how will the latest inflation print affect the already weak Indian rupee, especially since, the RBI is rapidly burning through its forex reserves just to prevent further volatility?
Well, that's right. The inflation reading isn't good news for the Indian rupee, which has been hitting a series of record lows against the US dollar. It does, if inflation is high, that only suggests that the value of the rupee is weaker. And in turn, having a depreciating rupee also means that inflation rises as well, because the imported inflation becomes much higher. That means that India, for example, is dependent on crude oil imports. It buys a lot of products from abroad, which then become much more expensive when it's buying in terms of rupees. And that means that products over here then become more expensive as well. The RBI has been taking steps. It's been reported that it has been stepping in, intervening to try to reduce the extent of the falls of the rupee. But at the same time, we do know that the US dollar is really a major factor in the weakness of the rupee at the moment. The fact that the Fed has been so hawkish and is expected to deliver further rate increases, that's really the main factor that's impacting the rupee at the moment.
Rebecca Bunnan, thank you so much. Rebecca in Mumbai. Our S&P Global Ratings warns that India is facing a, quote, cacophony of factors that could affect its sovereign rating. While the ratings agency cites factors such as high global commodity prices and tighter financial conditions. It adds it is watching out for rising inflation, interest rates, and declines in foreign currency reserves as well as other risks to growth. It notes that the central bank's 4 recent rate hikes could slow economic growth, increase government fiscal deficits, as well as weaken India's ability to maintain sustainable public finances. Well, S&P has the lowest investment grade rating of BBB- for India with a stable outlook. This means that while the country has enough capacity to meet financial commitments, it is more susceptible to adverse economic conditions. Well, S&P's comments come as Asia's third largest economy grapples with high fiscal deficit and debt. Worries about a possible economic slowdown in the country are mounting, resulting in the likes of the International Monetary Fund cutting India's growth forecasts for the year.